Hello, and today we have a little bit of a different video. I'm not even wearing my usual white. I was just driving and it was raining. It's quite nice, and I thought let's do a little video about what to do when you have a long drive and you don't want to fall asleep, but you don't want to just lose your time driving. So there's a few yogic practices that one can do. And let's go into that today. So allow me to be wearing red, and it's just a first chakra thing. It goes well with my beard. But yeah, so what can we do when we drive? So one of the things we want to do is we want to stay awake. That's very important. And the thing is that some of the yogic practices tend to lead us into a meditative state. Now, you don't want to be doing a meditative practice while you drive, because it's gonna pull you inwards, right? I mean, meditation is all about going inwards, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and we don't want to go inwards. We want to stay focused with what's happening outside. So what practices would be safe? Well, one of the things is when you drive, sometimes there is traffic and there is a lot of nervous energy around. There's people who are trying to cut you in, or they are trying to get in front of you, and when there is no space. And it's very important to remain relaxed. So how can we combine being relaxed but being aware? And that's a general state that is very interesting in life in general. How can I be in my life relaxed while aware, not falling asleep? And that's something that we can practice in general, but especially important when we drive. Today there is this sound of the raindrops because it's raining. It's quite beautiful, and it's quite nice to listen to the sounds of the raindrops. But just listening to sounds and doing some meditation on the listening, it's too void, it's too much empty, and either the mind goes into fantasy, or again we go too deep into the meditative state. So a few things we can do. One is chanting devotional mantras, in the meaning that we are just focused on the bhakti. We are not focused on the going inwards, but just praising, right? Praising the Lord, right? Like you're just chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, right? You are just enjoying, just making a good atmosphere in the car, bringing good energy to the drive. And something that is joyful, elevates the spirit, and it's just purely devotional. It's not too much about going into meditation. So any kind of mantra chanted like that would be fine. You wouldn't go into a rhythm or a pattern or a way of projection that is putting you into the mantra. So like I was doing the other day, the At Sat, Yugat Sat, Ebi Sat, Nanak Hosi Bi Sat. In a particular rhythm. I wouldn't do that when I'm driving. You are like Ardaas Singh, Yogic, Sat, Ebi Sat. I don't know. You are just more into the joy of chanting itself. One practice I like to do regarding mantras while I drive. I'll say a few things about mantras, then I will explain the practice that I most do when I'm driving. But one that I enjoy is to do the Sanskrit alphabet, which we have done here in the channel many times, and it's something that is working on the whole body. So you're kind of scanning your whole body with the vibration, but it's not something that is gonna pull you too much into the meditation. So you are like cha 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 nyam, cha 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 nyam, cha 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 nyam, cha 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 nyam. It's waking you up. It's not gonna put you to sleep. So that's not particularly relaxing, but that's going to be energizing the whole body. And I would do that first. So if I have a long drive ahead, like 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, the beginning of the drive, I would be chanting the Sanskrit alphabet. So you chant the whole Sanskrit alphabet top to bottom, from A to the Sashrasaha and Kshatranya. And then when you finish the Sanskrit alphabet, if you don't know how to do it, you can check. There's some videos in the channel on how to do that. When you do that, then energize the chakras up. So lam, lam, vam, vam, but not too much. Just 1 or 2 lines, 1 or 2 repetitions per chakra, And that's probably enough. Now, when you are fully charged and there's lots of energy within, then you can do something else. Either you can do the devotional mantras or some pranayams that you can do. And there is even a little meditation that I think it's suitable for the driving. Pranayams, but I will explain it. The pranayams, you can do breath of fire, for example. Breath of fire, we very often do it only for like 1 to 3 minutes, but that's a practice that you can do for longer times, especially if you are a dedicated yogi, you do relatively often, you do your practice, and you can very safely do 11 minutes, even up to 31 minutes if you wish. And that's actually quite nice because it keeps you neutral, the breath of fire, and it should keep you awake. Yeah, you're breathing powerfully and you're still awake. I will say the one that I like the most, I will say it at the end. Let's say this now. Okay, the one that I practice most, because it's also pranayam, then I will tell the meditation at the end. The pranayam that I do mostly is the 1 minute breath, but I do it in a very specific way, and I'll explain why. Normally, the 1 minute breath means 20 seconds inhale, 20 seconds hold, 20 seconds exhale. And you do it when you are very, very, very relaxed and with the eyes closed and you are very meditative and it's something very soft inside. But you don't do it in this way when you're driving. When I'm driving, because you don't want to be counting to 20, 20, 20. So what I do is to focus on the road is I look at the little, how do you say that? Like little signs on the road. I don't know how, there is a name for that. There is a little sign that if you're in a highway, this is morely for highways, okay? This is not, now the one I'm gonna say now is not for when you're driving in the city. In the city you can do the Sanskrit alphabet, you can do your regular mantras, but when you are in a long drive, you put the car in this automatic speed, then there is, in the highways, there is these little signs which every 100 meters, there's a little, in Europe, it's like a little blue sign every 100 meters. And then there is a white one which says the name of the highway every kilometer. Okay, so that's very useful. I mean, if you are living in a place where you use miles, then you're gonna have to think about a different way to do it. This is my way to do it. But I measure my breath according to those signs. And why do I do it like that? Well, first of all, because you need to know how much time is passing for the breath, but because if you focus on those little things, you are focusing on the road. So I'm looking at the road and I'm driving, and what I do is I breathe according to the kilometers. So I mentioned it's a little blue one every 100 meters, then there is a white one every kilometer. So I'm looking for the white ones to trigger the change in the breath. And the way I do the breath, I don't do 20 seconds inhale, 20 hold, 20 exhale, but actually I'm doing half of the time holding the breath, half of the time exhaling and inhaling. So during 1 kilometer, I'm holding the breath. The next kilometer, during the first 5 little signs, I'm exhaling. The next 5, I'm inhaling. Then the white sign arrives, hold the breath, another kilometer, then exhaling 5, inhaling 5. Now that's a very slow breath. If you are not used to doing 1 minute breath, it will be quite hard. But if you train yourself, you will get there. And also if you're doing like 1 hour drive, then it will slowly become easier. It's very funny because between my house and my teacher's house, there is a highway I have to take, and it's 108 kilometers. Exactly, in the GPS, 108. And then I have to take an exit. I mean, it's much longer, the drive, but there is one highway that is 108. So when I get into the highway, I try to do this breath for 108 kilometers. Now, if you are going at exactly 120, which is what the car can be programmed to, 120 kilometers an hour, that's let's see, that's 60 kilometers per 30 minutes. So that means 2 kilometers per minute. Okay, so 2 kilometers is 1 minute. So by doing this breath within 2 kilometers, one holding, one exhaling, inhaling, that means you are doing 1 minute breath. So it's the same as 1 minute breath, but not with the pattern of 20-20-20. Now, what is this gonna have? What effect is this gonna have on you? Well, because you are holding the breath and it's difficult, the body, when it's trying to hold the breath for a long time, it enters into a little bit of emergency because it says, what's happening? Why is the air not coming up? So there is like a waking up. Yeah, the brain is waking up, and you don't have to go into like full emergency panic mode. You don't have to go into distress, right? But the body will detect that there is something wrong because there is no breathing, and it will wake you up. And if you have enough lung capacity and enough practice, when you get into the rhythm of the breath, then everything becomes very relaxed, because if you get very nervous, you cannot hold the breath for so long, but you will also be very awake. Personally, I mean, I say experiment. Everybody has to try what their thing is. I'm not gonna say you have to do it like this. If you feel uncertain, this driving is dangerous, so don't do any practice that is not suitable for you. If you are driving, you have to check, and you have to know if you're feeling any drowsiness, forget it. Stop it and do something else. But to me, this practice, 1 minute breath while driving, is the thing that keeps me awake the most. So it's really useful. Another thing that you can do to help with the 1 minute breath is to combine it with mulband. Because of the contraction of the mulband, it's also going to help to keep you awake. You can also do contractions of mulband linked to the little signs of the road, and that's also good practice and good healthy working on the musculature of the pelvic floor. So this is the practice that I do the most. I will explain in a minute the meditation as well, but mostly this is the breath that I like to do. And when I'm doing the 1 minute breath, I don't focus on mantras, I don't play any music, I'm not doing any other practice combined to that. I'm just breathing 1 minute breath and focusing on the road and looking at the little signs. If there is a lot of traffic and you have to do weird things and you have to overtake and change the speed and things like that, it may not be suitable. And again, maybe the whole thing is not suitable for you, so you have to check. Now, there is one meditation I did practice sometime. I have practiced sometime. I haven't practiced now for a while. It's been a long time since I did it the last time while driving. But one is to do the how is it called? The microcosmic orbit. Yeah. So this is the one in which you are inhaling through your back to the crown, exhaling through the front to the back to the root. So you are bringing the energy from the first chakra through the back, and you have to feel every centimeter of your spine. You have to focus clearly on every centimeter of the spine to go up to the crown and exhale through the front. Now, because you are focusing on the spine, this one is not so suitable, especially if you are one of those who just go very deep within. So this is something that if you can keep the attention on the road and just doing this microcosmic orbit, then this is quite nice. Maybe you don't bring so much awareness to the spine, you're just inhaling to the crown, exhaling through the front, and that's useful. I remember one time when I was quite sick and I was driving a friend home in France. So I was going from Barcelona to France, and then I had to come back. And I was feeling very sick, and my head was like pain, and I was with fever, and I was like, how am I gonna do this drive back? When I got there, I got really sick. So how am I gonna do this drive back? I'm feeling awful. And I had like a few hours drive, and I didn't know what to do. But then I started to do this breath, and even though I felt sick, because it didn't stop feeling sick, but my mind got clearer. And I stayed awake. I didn't feel sleepy at all. It might have to do something with me and the way I work with the awareness, but I recommend that you try it out and see how it works. So anyway, it was a little video today, and I felt inspired to do this. It was a little bit improvised, and so maybe I will leave the other video about sounds for possibly Thursday, because it was today. Normally I record Tuesdays and Thursdays, but well, it depends a lot every week. But today it was great because it was raining, and I thought it was a good opportunity. It was my daughter's birthday as well. I'm driving now to have lunch with her. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, just give it a like and practice it. Thank you everyone for watching. Until next time, Naam.